You may never read an OSHA regulation, see an OSHA inspector, or attend an OSHA training class. But the rules and regulation that OSHA develops and enforces help keep you safe on the job. In this video, I will discuss why OSHA was created, its mission, and how it affects both you and your employer. The Occupational Safety and Health Act became a law in 1970. It established comprehensive and specific health standards, authorized inspections to ensure the standards are met, empowered the OSHA to police organization compliance, and required employers to keep records of illness and injuries and calculate accidents ratios. And this law states may create their own job safety and health program. The Occupational Safety and Health Act provides industry safety standards for four major categories of employers. General industry, construction, agriculture, and maritime. In addition, General Duty Clause covers any potentially dangerous or unhealthy workplace conditions that aren't covered by specific industry regulation. For example, ergonomic injuries. OSHA develops training and education programs to help employers understand the regulations and stay in compliance. While employers have responsibility of providing employees the following: access to medical records, records of employees' exposure to toxic substances in the workplace, providing employees with personal protective equipment, training, providing information about hazardous materials in the workplace, and ensuring compliance. Industry where a high percentage of accidents and injuries occur must maintain safety and health records. The forms required for record keeping are the following: OSHA Form 300, Log of Work-Related Injuries and Illnesses; OSHA Form 300A, Summary of Work-Related Injuries and Illnesses; and OSHA Form 301, Injury and Illnesses Accident Reports. To help employers decide whether an accident should be recorded, OSHA offers a schematic diagram for following organizations. If a case is resulted from a work accident or from an exposure in the environment of work and is a death, an illness, an injury that involves medical treatment, loss of consciousness, restriction of work or motion, transfer to another job, then the case must be recorded. While if it does not result from a work accident or from an exposure in the work environment and an injury that none of those mentioned earlier, the case is not to be recorded. OSHA penalties. Employees who have been found to violate OSHA regulations are issued fines based on the seriousness of the violation and the actions or history of the employer. Serious violations exist when the workplace hazard either caused or could have caused an accident or illness that would have resulted in death or serious physical harm. Willful violation mean the employer knew about a regulation and purposely ignored it or acted with indifference for worker safety. And lastly, repeated violations are just what sounded like. When an organization has previously been cited for a violation and a similar violation is found. OSHA's mission is to ensure the health and safety of America's workers. Enforcement plays an important role in the agency's effort to reduce workplace injuries, illnesses, and fatalities. This video describes the general OSHA inspection process and the reason for an inspection. OSHA conducts inspection based on imminent danger situations, worker fatalities, hospitalizations, amputations or losses of an eye, worker complaints, referrals, targeted inspection aimed at specific high-standard industries or individual workplaces, and follow-up inspections. Compliance safety and health officers or compliance officers are experienced, well-trained industrial hygienists and safety professionals. Once a compliance officer arrives on site and enters the facility, the inspection begins with the presentation of credentials. There are three basic parts of any OSHA inspection: the opening conference, the walk-around, and the closing conference. At the opening conference, a compliance officer will explain why OSHA is inspecting the workplace and describe the scope of the inspection, walk-around procedures, worker representation, and the need for worker interviews. The employer is asked to select a representative to accompany the compliance officer throughout the inspection. During the walk-around, the compliance officer will consult privately with individual workers. Common questions may include: how long have you worked for the company? Have you or anyone else have been injured or had close contacts on the job? Does the employer provide personal protective equipment? How often does the employer provide training? And what is the training composed of? Is there anything you would change to make working conditions safer? After the walk-around, the compliance officers hold a closing conference with the employer and the designated representatives to discuss the findings, possible corrective procedures, and reasonable timeline for correction. The compliance officer also discusses potential course of action an employer may take following an inspection, as well as available consultation services. Following the OSHA inspection, the compliance officer will put together a report based on what was discussed or apparent violations. The information is sent to the area director, who determines whether or not a citation is issued. If a citation is issued, the employer has 15 days to take action, such as requesting an informal conference with the area director to discuss any issues and address the penalties, or contesting the citation. A safe workplace benefits everyone. OSHA uses both enforcement and compliance assistance to achieve the shared goal. Ensuring compliance with OSHA standards is an integral part of an agency's mission to keep workers safe and healthy. That's why OSHA is working to give employers the knowledge and tools they need to comply with their obligations and provide safety information to workers. OSHA's on-site consultation program offers no-cost and confidential assistance to small and medium-sized businesses. The program helps businesses identify workplace hazards, provides advice for compliance with OSHA standards, and assists in establishing and improving safety and health programs. OSHA Training Institute education centers also offer training courses designed for workers, employers, and managers on safety and health hazard and abatement at convenient locations nationwide. Safety is everyone's responsibility and should be part of the organization's culture. Top management show its commitment to safety by providing resources to purchase safety devices and maintaining equipment. Human resource should provide training and make sure that safety is part of every employee's performance goals. Employers must always be aware of trends and developments that may produce concerns for the health and safety of the employees. Let us examine several topics of current concern to employers. Number 1. Workplace violence. These recent episodes of violence in the workplace have made us painfully aware that we cannot take safety for granted. These are among the 400 and 500 workplace homicides every year that make the news. Organizations must develop a plan to prevent workplace violence before it occurs. This should include a workplace violence prevention policy that outlines the types of behaviors that are prohibited. Examples may include bullying, horseplay, fighting, harassment, threats, and actual violence against coworkers, customers, vendors, or business associates. Procedures for reporting and investigating prohibited behavior should be spelled out. Number 2. Bullying. The Workplace Bullying Institute defines bullying as repeated, health-harming mistreatment of one persons by one or more perpetrators. It is abusive conduct that it is threatening, humiliating, or intimidating, or work interference, sabotage, which prevent work from getting done, or verbal abuse. It may be called incivility, personality conflicts, or disrespect, but the goal is to assert control or power over the victim. Bullies often encourage others to participate in the activities, which can include gossip, targeted unfair criticism, exclusion, or isolation, creating intolerable work condition or impossible productivity expectation. Tolerating bullying results in increased turnover, absenteeism, lower productivity, and can result in workers' compensation claims and lawsuits. Employer can reduce bullying behavior by creating a culture of respect and educating employees on the nature and effects of bullying in the workplace. Creating a policy that creates and explains the definition of bullying with specific examples of behaviors that are not tolerated help bullies and victims to identify it. Procedures for reporting, investigating, and disciplinary action should be clearly communicated on a regular basis. Number 3. Indoor air quality. Unhealthy work environments are a concern to everyone. If workers cannot function properly at their jobs because of constant headaches, watering eyes, breathing difficulties, or fear of exposure to materials that may cause long-term health problems, productivity will decrease. Work environments that may contain airborne contaminants from office machines, cleaning products, construction activities, carpets and furnishings, perfumes, water damage, building materials, latex products, air fresheners, microbial growth, fungal mold and bacterial, insects, and outdoor pollutants are sometimes referred to as sick buildings. Other factors such as indoor temperatures, relatively humidity, and ventilation levels can also affect how individuals respond to the indoor environment. Some suggestions for keeping the workplace environment healthy include the following. Make sure workers have enough fresh air. The cost of providing it is minimal compared with the expense. Number 5. While smoking in public is not banned nationwide, most states have some type of a ban on smoking in public place. The dangers and health problems associated with smoking have been well documented, and they translate into a variety of increased costs for employers and employees. Smokers have significantly higher absentee, injury, accident, and disciplinary rates than smoking employees. Smokers are also more likely to be admitted to a hospital and have longer hospital stays, which increase costs of employers' provided healthcare coverage. A few states provide exemptions for restaurants, bars, and casinos, creating concern that hospitality workers in those states are exposed to increased health risks from secondhand smoke. And lastly, number 6, musculoskeletal disorder. Workers that are required to perform prolonged, repetitive physical tasks can be at risk of developing work-related physical injuries called musculoskeletal disorders, or MSD, also known as repetitive stress injuries. These disorders include carpal tunnel syndrome, lumbar strain, hernias, and tendonitis. They occur in almost any industry, but the Bureau of Labor Statistics reports that industries with the highest rates of MSD include healthcare, transportation and warehousing, retail and wholesale trade, and construction. MSD account for 30% of all worker injury and illness cases. The cost to employer of MSD provides significant costs to employers in terms of lost workdays, reduced productivity, workers' compensation claims, medical costs, absenteeism, and turnover. Stress describes the many demands and pressure that we all experience to some degree each day. Stress activates your sympathetic nervous system, stimulating the release of stress hormones throughout your body. Fight or flight response makes your heart beat faster, nervous, and difficult to breathe. Short-term stress, the flight or fight response, causes changes that allow you to handle sudden stressful events. Long-term stress can be particularly difficult. It can suppress the immune system, which may lead to development of diseases. Stress can be positive or negative depending on the situation. Positive stressors called eustress. Common causes of stress. Task demands relate to an employee's job. It includes the design of the person's job working condition and the physical work layout. Role demands and the pressure placed on an employee. Role conflicts create expectation that may lead or may be hard to reconcile or satisfy. Role overload is expressed when the employee is expected to do more that time permits. Interpersonal demands or pressure created by other employees. Lack of social support can cause stress. Organization structure, excessive rules, and lack of opportunity to participate. Organizational leadership represents the supervisory style of the organization's company officials. Personal factors. Type A behavior is characterized by patience, competitiveness, perfectionism, and difficulty accepting and enjoying leisure time. Type B behavior that tends to be more impatient, creative, and collaborative. Worker burnout involves chronic emotional stress with emotional and physical exhaustion. People suffering from burnout may become irritable, impatient, show lower job productivity, health problems, and prone to substance abuse. Reducing stress. One option is to develop stress management programs that seek to reduce stressors in the workplace and teach employees how to handle the stress that is unavoidable. GlaxoSmithKline, or GSK, has developed a variety of initiatives that have helped employees maintain personal health and sustain productivity. Employees participating in GSK's Energy for Performance, Personal Resilience, and Team Resilience programs report 80% improvement. 11 ways to reduce stress. Monitor employee workloads and deadlines. Have a zero-tolerance policy. Establish and encourage use of wellness programs. Encourage vacation and discourage working on weekends and vacations.
Hi, I'm Giselle Argente and I am currently working at Prime Data Management in Lipa City, Batangas.
Okay, Miss Giselle Argente, I have a question for you. As you perform your job, what aspect stresses you a lot?
For me, merong dalawang bagay na nakaka-stress sa akin. Una is workload. Kasi sa amin, sa US account namin, sobrang dami talagang trabaho na pinapadala sa amin. Kaya, tapos, galing pa siyang US. So, pagdating sa amin sa dito sa Philippines, sobrang dami talaga ng workload na pinapasa sa amin. Then, the second one is katrabaho. Hindi natin maiiwasan na meron talagang mga katrabaho tayo na hindi gusto yung ginagawa natin. Siyempre, tayo, ginagawa natin yung kaya natin at alam natin. Pero sa iba, parang iniisip na nila na nalalagpasan natin sila.
How do you cope up with stress?
For me, sa workload, before pa lang mag-payroll, talagang ginagawa ko na siya as early as possible. Kasi para sa akin, ayoko din na natatambakan ako ng trabaho para hindi ako yung tipo na tao na gusto ko, kung kaya kong tapusin naman ng isang araw, gagawin ko. Then sa co-workers ko, una sa lahat, hindi ko na sila pinapansin kapag merong mga issue na ganyan. Kasi kung nasa trabaho ka, dapat yun lang ang iintindihin mo at hindi yung mga issue na. Dapat professional tayo sa mga trabaho na ginagawa natin.
An EAP or Employee Assistance Program is an optional program employers can offer their staff, and it is often free to employees. EAPs are designed to assist employees in personal matters that may affect job performance topics such as stress, substance abuse, marital problems, domestic violence, financial difficulties, health, education, and more. Typically, employees can contact EAP for referrals or counseling. In those areas, EAP can also serve as consultants to help managers and supervisors deal with workplace challenges. Employers can choose to offer such a program within their organization or hire an EAP vendor. Conditions such as anxiety, depressive disorder, and substance abuse affect a worker's ability to perform her job. To help employees cope with mental health issues, substance abuse, and life challenges, companies offer EAP or the Employee Assistance Programs. Employee assistance programs are a resource for employees dealing with personal problems, including services such as attorney consultation, childcare, and elderly care options, budget information, addiction recovery, and family counseling. We know that life happens and it is impossible to draw a line between someone's personal and professional lives. And for that reason, the EAP is a great resource for employees and family members of employees to turn to. Among and more common issues, EAP can help with our relationship problems, managing grief, and understanding loss, personal growth, parenting concerns, and substance. Here are some of the most important things to remember about your EAP benefit. First is, it is of no cost to the employee or family members. There is no enrollment or eligibility period. And most importantly, it is a confidential resource and confidential service. And when it comes to the benefits of EAP, here are the benefits that the employees must have. Support for the employer, support for the employee, preventive care, emergency consultation. Strict confidentiality among open to employees and their immediate families. Recognition and commitment by management are some informations that we must consider making an EAP successful.
This is Heidi B. Gonzalez. I am working at Batangas State University as a faculty member and currently holding the position assistant professor. I am more or less 15 years na in service in the teaching profession. And with regards to your question, in order to become a better employee, first and foremost, we have to adhere to the guidelines and policies of the institution or the university, and then work towards the goals of the university, towards the vision, and then also treat everybody with respect, and then exert the best effort, and also basically be open to change. Actually, I enjoyed the scholarship 2 years ago. So if we are going to contextualize the scholarship program today, wherein we are experiencing pandemic, so I think if there are faculty members right now who want to pursue their studies, very big help talaga yung scholarship na may offer the university because because of this health crisis, medyo talagang most of the people na mga working, mga employees na is nakakaranas ng financial challenges. So, kumbaga kung meron man mga employees nga na gusto pa rin isabay nga yung kanilang pag-pursue ng kanilang graduate studies, malaking tulong ng ganung scholarship.
And to conclude this video presentation, I would like to add that companies that implement an EAP invest in their employees' health and well-being, and that can only result in an overall benefit to the entire organization. EAPs need to work closely with HR professionals to not only promote the EAP and raise awareness of the benefit, but also educate employees on all that the EAP can offer. Therefore, increasing utilization of the Employee Assistance Program that can only be considered a good thing for employees. International Safety and Health. Safety and Health in Construction Convention 1988 number 167. The convention provides for detailed technical, preventive, and protective measures having due regard for the specific requirements of this sector. These measures relate to safety of workplaces, machines, and equipment used, work at heights, and work executed, in compressed air. ILO guidelines are intended to provide technical guidance relating to OSH. They present useful tools for enterprises and practitioners. ISO 45001 is an international standard for health and safety. A simpler and less bureaucratic approach may be more appropriate. Influence your business. Improve health and safety performance by your business. Health and Safety Manager Responsibilities. The Health and Safety at Work Act, HSWA 1974. A Health and Safety Policy Statement of Intent. The Organization of Health and Safety. Your arrangement for health and safety. What is ILO Code of Practice? Codes of practice set of practical guidelines for public authorities, employers, workers, enterprises, and bodies. They are not legally binding instruments that are not intended to replace the provisions of national laws. What are OSH standards? Occupational health and safety relates to health, safety, welfare issues in the workplace. OSH includes the law, standards, and programs that are aimed to making workplace better for workers. Why is OSH relevant to business? Research has shown that the safety and well-being at the workplace equals good business and profitability. Employers have primary responsibility for the occupational safety and health for workers. They are responsible for conducting risk assessments and organizing business operations with safety. Government set the frameworks to enable workers to provide flexible solutions to manage workplace safety. OSH performance is the key to reputation management, particularly where business depends on their relationship with global consumers. Business owners and employers are legally responsible for health and safety management. This means they need to make sure those employees and anyone who visits their business and premises are protected from anything that may cause harm. And control any risks to injury or health that could arise in the workplace. What is OSH? Occupational safety and health deals with all the aspects, a strong focus on prevention of hazards. Its goal is to prevent accidents and harm to people from work-related activities. International Occupational Safety and Health. The ILO Constitution sets forth the principle that workers must be protected from sickness, disease, and injury arising from their employment. ILO stands on occupational safety and health, provide essential tools for governments, employers, and workers to establish such practices and provide for maximum safety at work. Occupational safety and health, OSH, also commonly referred to as occupational health standard. Occupational health and occupational safety is a multidisciplinary field. These terms also refer to the goals of this field, so their use in the sense of this article was originally an abbreviation of Occupational Safety and Health Program. The goal of an occupational safety and health program is to foster a safe and healthy occupational environment. OSH also protects all the general public who may be affected by the occupational environment.